What's up guys, it's Jamey. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be following up and giving my overall review of the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro now that I've been able to use them for a couple of weeks. I decided to purchase these because I've been using the AirPods Pro for a while and I wanted to try out something different in a similar form factor. When these came out, I thought the design was kind of interesting. Some of the new features were kind of cool too, so I thought it'd be a good idea to compare them to the AirPods Pro to see if these were any better. So just to start off, I'm going to get out there and I'm just going to say I do not like the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro at all. I don't care what price point they were at. I mean, they're $199 compared to like an AirPods Pro that's $249. If they were $999, I still wouldn't like them. And I'm going to give you my reasons why. So to begin, I think the biggest reason, and this is definitely person dependent, so you could have a completely different experience, but the first reason is just the overall design. The way that these things are made and how they're supposed to sit within this portion of your ear, it is so super dependent on how your ear shape is to determine whether or not you're going to get good fitment. Like I know that there's been comments about, AirPods and whether or not they fit someone's ear. If you have an issue with that, this is even greater because you don't have it with an AirPod, you have that, it kind of hooks into this area here. With this design, it's looking at the outer aspect of your ear canal and you have to fit this whole thing in there. And if it's not in, if it doesn't fit right, you don't have a good secure fit. I've tried many different positions. I've tried each of the different ear plugs that it comes with, and no matter what configuration, no matter how I tried to set it up, I could not find a fit that I thought was what Samsung was going for. With these, it always either felt very uncomfortable or it felt like they were going to fall out. So in either way, it just wasn't right. I either had to jam them in my ear to the point in which I just had this huge pain in my ear because you have this big plastic piece that's up against stiff parts of your ear, or to get it to where it didn't hurt, I had to pull them out far enough to where I didn't get any real, it didn't sound right. It felt like they were gonna fall out of my ear at any moment. And the overall design, I understand what they're going for, but I think that, you're somewhat limited on who it can actually work well in. Because to me, it seems like it's either a hit or a miss. Another thing that's interesting about it is just where they have the battery connector points on the earphone itself, that's being placed in your ear. When you compare it to like the AirPods Pro, they have the longer stem, and that longer stem goes into the charging point, and that's where you have, on that longer stem, you have the metal contact point where the battery charging occurs. This is on, you can see these little metal circles, and those connect to the charger on the case. And I could feel they are flush, but there is definitely a difference between in the materials, and I could feel it like touching in my ear as well. So I just think that I understand the concept of the design, I understand like the minimalism of it, but in practice, it just didn't work out at all for me. So it wasn't comfortable. I couldn't get good fitment. I think that messed up with the sound quality as well. So that's like the biggest thing. Like if they don't fit in your ear, then they're not going to work at all. The other big issue that I had on the Buds Pro is just how you utilize and interact with the earbuds themselves. So it's all touch related on the exterior of the headphone for play, pause, going through active noise canceling, turning it off. And I think that that's great, but in concept, when you think about how you're interacting with headphones of this style, I find when I'm using AirPods Pro as well as with these, I do on occasion, you're adjusting fitment, especially if you're running or doing any kind of like physical activity. You are interacting with the phones with the earbuds in this fashion. And what I would find in doing so, I'm finicking around with these a lot more just because I can't find good fitment. So I would continue to be working with them in this fashion, and I would just be playing, pausing, skipping, doing all different types of things that I'm not trying to do. It's just that I'm trying to reposition the headphones, and because there's this touch sensitivity on it, I'm inadvertently pausing, going to the next track, or what have you. And so I found that to be very annoying. I think that initially, like the thought about AirPods Pro, like, is just how finicky that stem, the long press versus the short press, that can be finicky. I would much rather have that than having touch controls on the earbuds themselves and inadvertently doing things that you don't want them to do. I know that there's a way to shut that off or change that or what have you, but I think just in practice, having like that long stem with somewhat of a physical touch button versus like how it is on the Buds Pro, it's a much better utilization. I found it to be super annoying. Granted, I think that if you do have a better fitment, maybe you're not finicky with them as much, so you're not going to be interacting with them like that. But I think that no matter what the headphone is, if for instance, if you're running or doing anything kind of physical, there is going to be some movement, and so you are going to be touching them like that. And with these headphones or these earbuds, you're going to, without even wanting to, play, pause, next track, whatever the case may be. And I think that was another big, design issue that I found with the headphones themselves. Another issue that I found that is a little bit different, that I'm not really sure if it's an issue, or if it's an iPhone thing, or what have you, but so I had these connected to my iPhone 12 Pro, and I found that if I was listening to something on my iPhone, and depending upon the app that I was using, sometimes it would stop playing music, and it would be in instances where it wouldn't necessarily make sense. So one area where it happened a lot was if I'm on my phone and I open up the Bank of America app, for whatever reason, it would stop playing music. There is no sound or anything in the Bank of America app. This would not happen when using my AirPods Pro, but for whatever reason, every single time if I'm listening to anything on my iPhone and I open up the Bank of America app, it would pause the music that I'm listening to. Very strange, could just be like a minor glitch, but I think it's just an odd interaction. It didn't happen with any other apps. If I open up Chase or Capital One or just other random apps, it didn't occur, but for whatever reason, Bank of America shut down music. Now the last issue that I have with the Galaxy Buds Pro isn't really an issue, it's more of a complaint. They have an app where you can go into your Galaxy Buds and manipulate them a little bit more. You get more adjustment within the features of the headphones themselves. And you can get this on an iPhone, but it's only currently supporting a couple of the headphones. I think it's like the Buds Live and like the Buds Plus, but there is no support for the Buds Pro. So if you are using an iPhone, you really can't do much adjustment with the headphones themselves. And so that's just a limitation. If you have obviously like a Samsung phone or I'm assuming any other Android-based phone, you're not really going to have the issue. They may, I'm assuming, come out with an update to the app in the future where it's going to have support for the Buds Pro, but just as of right now, it's not available. So I think that's a definite limitation on the headphones specifically for iPhone users. Overall, I think that if the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro fits your ear, you're probably going to have a completely different experience than myself. Also, if they fit your ear and you are like an Android or Samsung Galaxy phone user, you're probably going to have a completely different experience as well. I feel like even if the Buds Pro fit well in my ears, I would still have an issue with how you can interact with them. I still have an issue with not really having an app on the iPhone that fully supports them. And then overall, when you look at the price point, granted they are a little bit cheaper than the AirPods Pro. I'm sure you can probably find the AirPods Pro for $199, but so when you're looking $199 to $199, I definitely would be going AirPods Pro over the Buds Pro every single day. These do have some enhanced features with the IPX7 rating, But when looking at IPX7 rating versus IPX4, which is what the AirPods Pro have, I've had my AirPods Pro ever since they first came out. I've worn them almost every single day and have run in them and sweat in them and have had not a single issue whatsoever. I would love to get your thoughts on the Galaxy Buds Pro, so please comment below. Also, if you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.